Everyone, thank you for tuning back into the channel. So, today we're going to talk about why most friendships are fake and why I'm just really kind of giving up on friendships as a whole. If you're new to the channel, I used to be an absolute loser, used to be third in the world in Call of Duty, quit Call of Duty for about 10 years, went on a massive self improvement journey. And that's what we basically document within this channel. Obviously, I just started playing Call of Duty again. So, basically, guys, I'm going to jump right into it. I've lost a lot of friends throughout the years. I've cut out even more friends throughout the years. It just seems like there's bullshit always, every single time with every, human friendship. There's always bullshit. There's always more disrespect. There's always more shit that I have to deal with than I dish out on my end, right? And I'm gonna share my thoughts on why I think this is. I've noticed a cycle of friendship and a cycle of many human relationships in general. And what that cycle is they'll be interested in you at the beginning. They're so interested in you. They deep down, maybe subconsciously, they want your validation. Maybe the things that they're attracted to you by. Oh, he looks good. Maybe he could help me get girls. He'll look cool to me. Out at the bars, right? And so they really want to start hanging out with you. They really like you. They really treat you well. Then the same goes in romantic relationships, right? They really treat you well. They really value you. They're so grateful for you. The love bombing stage. But then as you get, more familiar with each other, you learn each other's idiosyncrasies, your quirks, and you get really, really close with each other. And you kind of take people for granted, and B, the familiarity kind of breeds resentment. The familiarity kind of breeds contempt for the other individual, right? They have your validation. They don't really, it just kind of goes downhill. So I've noticed that trend with a lot of friendships, right? It starts out hot and heavy, and then inevitably 3, 4, 5 months down the line, once you're solidified as friends, talking all the time, hanging out all the time, the newness is gone. It kind of fizzles away. Another reason why, guys, is I have self-improved massively, and that's kind of the crux of this channel, right? I've self-improved massively over the last decade. And quite frankly, to be honest with you, I would say that, and I don't mean this egotistically, I mean this factually, I would say 98% of guys in my age range are just not on my level across the board. Ability to get girls, money that they've made, physical fitness. I kind of rank very high in all of these departments, intelligence, things like that. And it's really, really difficult for me to have anything in common with most guys that I meet, especially, let's be honest, if I met a guy 6 years younger than me in his mid 20s, he just hasn't had enough life experience to self improve and not enough time to improve to the level that I have. So it's really hard to relate to a lot of guys. And as a result, I'm not cocky. I don't really share a lot of these views with guys. But unfortunately, a lot of these guys, right, they're not dumb, right? Just hang out with me 30, 45 minutes. I'm talking about things, go with me to the bar, see me talking to girls. They kind of pick up on this very quickly, and they try to out alpha me. They try, there's this bigger dicking that goes on in male friendships. They try to compete with me. And what I've noticed it boils down to is I trigger a lot of these guys' insecurities, right? They want to feel better than me. There's a lot of posturing, right? They want to, compete with me, or they're insecure. They're comparing themselves to me. And guys, this stuff happens when I don't really do anything except just be myself, right? I don't really talk much about my accomplishments. I don't talk about my career. I don't talk about almost 99% of the shit I talk about on this YouTube channel. I bottled it up for so long. And that's why I created this fucking channel, to be able to talk about these things. So I'm just trying to explain that, these are some of the reasons why I think, people just, they're not really happy for you, right? People aren't really happy. A lot of friends aren't happy to see your wins. It's really hard to find supportive friends. I think the ultimate basis of a friendship should be mutual support. I think that's the ultimate foundation of a friendship, mutual support. Very, very difficult to find within male friendships and some female friendships, which we'll touch on in a second. So, I feel like I have nothing in common with a lot of these guys. It leads to resentments, and ultimately people only care how you make them feel. That's the only reason people want to keep spending time with you, like you, talk highly of you, want to reach out to you, is if you make them feel better than their equilibrium, or just you not being around. And unfortunately, if you've made a lot of money, are talking to girls at the bar, or you remind them of their shortcomings or how they're not on your level, you could be an amazing person morally. You could even try to gas them up. Hey, it's great seeing you, man. How you been? How's your week going? but just they compare themselves to you consciously or subconsciously, and they just don't feel as good around you, as opposed to people feel really good about non-threatening people, or people that they feel that they know they're better than, that they're a higher up level in the game of life. People love spending time with those fucking people, right? So people that are really selfish, they really only care about themselves. You live in a very superficial, selfish, hedonistic world. And a lot of these relationships, they're transactional. What can you get? Myself included. I've had to, kind of succumb this way or acquiesce this way due to the nature of human beings and my experiences on this world. What value are people bringing to me, right? Are they hopefully supportive, which is really hard to find? Do they make me, do they look cool when I'm going to talk to girls, right? And the girl says, hey, who are your friends, who are you with tonight, right? Are they going to be, oh, this is my buddy? Is it going to make me look bad or good, the way the guy looks and presents himself? Are they smart? Do we have similar interests, right? Those are kind of the transactional elements of the friendship that I look for. And, really the nature of humans is, as well, unfortunately, is obviously I'm someone who, has, a lot of opinions on things. I'm someone that likes deep conversations. I hate small talk, surface level bullshit. And if you take a hard stance on something, like at all, kind of like I do in a lot of these videos, it makes people subconsciously want to disagree with you, right? So it's hard to explain, but if basically you're like, oh, this restaurant's amazing, like, or oh, I think this is one of the best restaurants in town, right? Just something innocent like that. That if you do that enough times, people, they want to. If you don't take a neutral stance, they want to start disproving you. And I've noticed that in a lot of human interactions as well. And it pisses me off. So I kind of realized I can't really have an opinion on anything. I got to kind of stay neutral. I got to kind of, go with the flow. Oh, I don't know. Like, what do you think, Eric? And if I tell them my true thoughts, they'll get pissed at me, right? If I think they're making stupid decisions in life. So, oh, just go with your heart, man. Or girl, go with your heart. Just go what feels good. Just hang in there. You got to give fucking feedback like that these days. So what I did, I'm going to wrap up the video in a second, but what I did is I actually wrote off male friendships for a period of my life, and I focused on making female friendships. I have a female, really, really close friend. We've been friends for about 2 years now. She's the most supportive friend that I've basically ever had. And then I started trying to branch it out to more girls, right? So met girls, basically introduced them to each other. And then one of the girls that I didn't know, who was kind of the hot one in the group, who had the most clout and influence, she had no idea who the hell I was. So she started trying to host get-togethers without me, with all these girls. And the only reason she fucking met them is because of me. So I was like, bitch, are you fucking kidding me? So I cut that girl off, and by affiliation, her friend. So anyways, I basically only have 2 female friends right now. They're supportive. Was talking to, both of them this week. Talk to them pretty frequently, actually. And, female friendships, they're not as much in competition as you. They're not trying to bigger dick you. They're not, jealous if you get girls, unless they like you, of course, which is a whole nother flip side. A lot of these girls, they like you, and, it's, is it a real friendship at that point? But anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap the video up here. I would love for you to drop your comments and feedback regarding, what you've experienced in your life regarding your friendships. What your thoughts are regarding the things that I said in the video today. And, maybe there's some tips and tricks you guys could even provide me. And I'd love to kind of hear your experience with the nature of a lot of friendships. And, guys, as we get older and older and older, it just becomes even harder to make friends, right? You're not in college, high school, have these mutual interests. So, guys, appreciate you tuning into the channel. And please like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to hit, 50 subscribers. I would love to hit that milestone and keep bringing you guys good content. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.